collectors and action figure fans? It's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers The Last Knight Deluxe Class Bumblebee. Finally, the third wave and brand new mold of Bumblebee as he appears in the Last Knight film. It's taken us a while to get this, which is really funny because it's Bumblebee, and usually we have about 4 or 5 different Bumblebees by now. But for the packaging on this guy, very standard. You got the Transformers logo, Premier Edition, obviously the Transformers Last Knight logo down there. Come around to the side, you got just stuff on this side. He's a courageous scout, and you got a really cool image and heroic look of a Bumblebee in his robot mode. On the back of the package, you got images of his robot mode, his new Camaro mode, and then also available you have the new recolored strafe, which is really just a repaint of the Age of Extinction strafe, and then crosshairs. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have the new Bumblebee opened up out of its packaging and obviously in his vehicle mode. And as you can see, it is modeled after his new, I believe a heavily modified 2017 Camaro. And I love the look of it. This is actually a version of the Camaro that I would, without question, take mine in and actually trade it in. I just think it is really cool. A little bit more sports car looking than muscle car, but it is absolutely sexy. You can see he's got this absolutely gorgeous new lower section. Very sleek kind of headlights here, giving a very narrow look. You can kind of see that the actual headlights are painted blue. You got like the fog lights and stuff in there. Obviously, I do wish there was a few more paint details, but it's not bad. You can see that the top section has that black roof hood and then coming back to a spoiler, which as you can see is elevated. It kind of is like a honeycomb sort of, I guess, shape. I mean, you got like different segments right there. I like it. You got the back section here, very aggressive looking. You got some nice black paint. You actually have some painted taillights, which is nice. You got a little black section right there. You got his tailpipes, which aren't painted or anything. You got some nice black tires. I'm trying to see nothing really sculpted in there. You got the little lug nuts and stuff. He does have a slightly sculpted Autobot logo right there, not painted or anything, but it is there. Then you see the little kind of aggressive vents right there, which I think looks really nice. You got those same kind of vents here in the front, which just, like I said, overall really very cool looking kind of update to the Camaro. As you can see, he does have weapon storage. He does have it on both sides. This is his weapon. You got a little slot right here and then a little tab that you just kind of put that in there, wedge that in, and you can store it there on that side. If you wanted to, you can put it on the other side as well. It's your personal preference. Just kind of wedge it in there and you got weapon storage for him. Kind of wish that the weapon storage was a little bit more integrated to the inside so that you don't necessarily see it, but that kind of gives you the impression like when you would drive and parts of him would transform and then you'd have a gun sticking out on the side. I mean, that's kind of cool, but overall really very sharp. Now, I don't have any other Bumblebees around me other than this guy, so it's kind of cool to see the very first version of Bumblebee in terms of the Michael Bay movies and the very most recent one, and you can see about the same size. That's fairly impressive, but he has come a long way. I mean, this definitely has a more muscle car vibe. Like I said, the muscle car look was kind of the first 3 movies. In Age of Extinction, he got a little bit more like this, where it was a little bit more sports car-y looking, I guess. And of course, The Last Knight went even further. This style and design I really like. The Age of Extinction one I didn't like all that much, but really very nice. The bottom, it's obviously robot. I mean, that doesn't really change all that much either. I mean, when you look at it, arms down the side, the head's there at the top, the legs in the back, so kind of similar. So, and honestly, the transformation is fairly similar as well. It is a new mold. I do believe that it is all new, even like the skeletal structure, but it does have a very similar feel to a lot of the other Bumblebee figures that we've gotten before. So if you know how to transform any of those, you'll probably be fine here. You come around here to the side, you want to detach the doors and pull those away just like so. Come around here to the back, you can loosen this up. This is going to be tricky later on. You got a little tab here that needs to go underneath here, and then you got some tabs on the under section here that have to slot in here. That does get a little bit problematic, but it's not terribly bad, but it is a little bit tricky. You want to come around here, kind of pull away. You want to separate the windshield here kind of from underneath the hood. So you got to kind of pull it back to get it away. So then once you do that, that whole section kind of hinges and just kind of gets there. You can come around to the bottom. You can fold this in like so. Fold that in like so. Come around here to this. Open this up. You see very similar sort of stuff. Hands and arms pull out just like that. Again, very similar in terms of a lot of the kind of flow of the figure. And I take this. We're going to get that out of the way and rotate his head around in this. Get this. Come on. Rotate these arms. Clear everything out of the way. Bring this around. And this comes up underneath and sandwiches kind of underneath there, just like that. Kind of sits right there. Bring the hands and the arms down like so. You can take these bits, these actually angle them up, give him a very cool angle to his chest. Come around here to the back. These bits here actually detach, rotate that down. So it takes the cues from the Masterpiece one kind of as well. That's kind of cool to actually see. Kind of angle these, kind of rotate that, fold out his hand just like that, rotate, fold out his hand just like that. Then the legs actually are kind of cool. You want to split these. It's a very tough joint right here. Just give that a nice little pull. Then rotate this section around to the front. Take this bottom section, rotate this towards the inner section like that. And then this whole section, you want to come around here to the side, detach this. This will then rotate all the way up in position just like so. Do that on this side as well. Pull that away, rotate, kind of just line that up, stick it right there. And then take this entire section, you got the little foot right back here, rotate this around like so. This piece right here, you can see it's on a little bit of sliding thing. Rotate that around and collapse that in. Now you got a little tiny tab on the inside here and a little slot, so you have to make sure that you get that positioned. Give that a good squeeze, lock that into place. Do that on this side as well. Rotate that around, bring this up so you got the little slot section right there that the little foot tab thing here will line up with, and give that a nice little squeeze, locks that into place. Position the foot, kind of just futz with everything, getting it all where it's kind of meant to be. And when you're done, there you have Bumblebee in his really cool looking robot mode. And this guy really did turn out great. In terms of the look for the movie, I'm glad that they took his robot mode and went back to how it kind of appeared in the original 3 films. Now, in terms of his accessories, he does have that cannon like I showed you. One thing that's weird about it is that you actually have to remove the existing arm. A lot of other ones, you know, it had a kind of gun or something incorporated to the arm. So by giving it a completely separate piece, it keeps the arms a little bit more kind of accurate looking. Now, unfortunately, in terms of accuracy, they put this on the wrong arm. Typically speaking, it's his right arm that has the cannon. So what you do for this is it's actually a bit of a mushroom peg. It's kind of tricky to get to, but you can kind of see a little mushroom peg right there. It's a little bit easier if you rotate it and then kind of just work it out and pull it away. And then you take this and you basically just go in the reverse. You just kind of put that mushroom peg back on there and then kind of rotate that around. In doing a lot of it, you will probably knock a lot of parts on like the legs right here. That's one aspect that a lot of people have complained about, but I'll touch on that here in a bit. But you put the cannon on that arm, and honestly, I don't know. I mean, like I said, the look of it isn't bad or anything. I just do think that it would look better if it was on his proper side, which is his right side. Now, if you wanted to, you can put it on the other side. You just have to take this off and then, let's see, slot that back in. I do worry about the overall durability of that mushroom peg if you're constantly doing that. Now, you can do it with the other arm. Again, it's a little bit tricky, but it's the same mushroom peg. The problem, though, is this is actually kind of his elbow joint right here. So it goes on this side, and obviously with the sculpting the way that it is there, it's meant to be over here. You can spin it around and then tab it in this side. The problem that creates, well, if Optibotimus does it right, is that getting that in there, you now, and again, I knocked everything loose, you can put that gun on his arm, or the proper right arm, but it's only just going to be a straight extension for it. So you can create that look, which to me, I think that looks a little bit cooler. Like I said, it's more accurate, but you can't bend the arm up. It bends down now. So you can do it, and then if you rotate it around, you have the outer section of his arm on the wrong side. So again, I guess it's personal preference. That is meant to be on the outside, though. It's a recreation of this piece right here. So kind of stinks that they have it on the wrong arm. But it is what it is. One thing that I actually kind of like is some parts on this do detach a little bit easier. I don't know if it was meant to do that, but you can like take that, and the wings here do detach very easily. So maybe he kind of like in the movie where he fell apart fairly easily. I don't know if that was intended to be in the toy like that, but you kind of could recreate it a little bit by having them be in a whole bunch of pieces. So you can put it on the correct arm. It just isn't going to be articulated the proper way. Then for storage as well, you can come around here, and he's got a little hole in his butt. Yeah, I said it. And then you got a little, where's it at? A little post right here that you can put that in there, and then maybe turn it or something, or you could just have it be a butt. I mean, a big giant booty right there. It's not bad. It doesn't really ruin the overall look or anything like that. And because you already have a big giant backpack kind of going on here, it doesn't look terrible, but it also doesn't look good, I guess. It is something, though. So there, we'll just go like that. Now, for comparison, again, because I don't have any other Bumblebee figures out here, I'm going to bring out this guy, the old classic Camaro Bumblebee. Again, the very first Bumblebee, now with the most recent one. And you can see, so vehicle mode-wise, they were roughly about the same. Robot mode, though, there's a pretty big difference right here. Again, I don't usually like doing a comparison because this is now a 10-year-old figure compared to a figure that is a couple weeks old. So I don't necessarily like doing this comparison, but fortunately that's all I have right now. For another new Last Night Deluxe figure, here he is with Barricade, and you can see that that size is just about perfect. So in terms of a scaling, there's that again. In terms of a scaling of figures, he actually scales very nicely with the new ones that are available. So size-wise, it works pretty good. Now, the one thing I guess a lot of people are having a problem with are these. It is a little bit fragile. These are on that little sliding thing. I've got a little hair right there. Get that out of the way. It kind of slides like that, and then when you bring that around, that little tab really doesn't have that much friction to lock it. Mine's actually pretty good, so you can see that for the most part, when you push it in there, I feel it's grabbed on there. Now, I could probably thicken that up with some floor polish or something like that if I wanted it to have a really secure kind of a grip or something, but I don't think it's really all that bad, at least on mine. I think it's going to be a case of your figure may have it, it may not, but it does appear to be something that you can fix. Again, you know, everyone will complain, quality control, this, that, and the other thing, and yeah, it's there. Is it a bad thing? Yeah, but I don't think it's really something that's earth-shattering. To me, it doesn't, really ruin the figure or anything. For his articulation, the head is on a ball joint, so you get a nice range of motion. I think that the gapping here between his kind of, I guess, top part of his like chest and shoulder and stuff, and where the head is, I think that it's overall pretty decent. I do wish it would extend a little bit up just to give him a little bit more of a neck, but that is a gorgeous, very accurate head sculpt right there. You got some nice silver paint, got some nice blue for the eyes, you got the Autobot logo painted in there. He obviously doesn't have the battle mask, but you can see kind of the little ears and stuff sculpted in there, so that's really nice. Again, nice sculpting throughout the whole thing. The rest of the paint you can see is pretty decent. You got some nice silver on the upper part of the arms. It comes down here on his forearms, and then you get to the boring gray. You got that also here, and then you got the black. So a little bit of a silver wash here would look absolutely gorgeous, I think. That would really help pull a lot of details out. The rest of it, I mean, the black is kind of bland, I guess. Pretty nice detail here. One thing that it does seem kind of weird that, like, his legs, you got like a lot of bulk on the inside and then not on the outside. It's almost like they're reversed. Like, this should be on that side. And honestly, it really almost should, and you can see that did flop out, but I don't really know of a way that you can swap that. I mean, you could probably, I'm trying to look here, if you really wanted to, those are just ball joints, you could probably rotate the legs and do it, but I think in general the design looks pretty good, but you do have a kind of weird aesthetic there. Going back to the articulation, the shoulders here are on ball joints, so you get a nice range going on there. The elbows can rotate forward and back, they can also hinge. You got a hinge here for the wrist, so nice range of motion, pretty much perfect articulation for the arm. And again, you can see some nice silver on the inside here. Come to the waist, he does have a waist swivel, which is nice. You've got a nice ball joint like I was talking about at the hip, does swivel here at the upper part of the thigh, bends at the knee. The ankles actually do, when you have it locked into place, they actually do flex forward and back, which is really nice. Pretty much all the articulation that you would want. You can see like these little bits here can flex forward and back, so you can kind of, if you really wanted to, put these kind of more towards the back. When you bring these together, it kind of brings the whole thing kind of together, so you're kind of like that with them. These little bits, I do kind of wish that these could hinge a little bit more down so that you can, and I don't know why they couldn't, because you got like a little screw right there, so it would have been nice if you could have like hinged that down closer to the back section here. That would probably be a cool addition, I suppose. But I mean, to me, those are really just nitpicks, honestly. Maybe some extra paint down here for the boring gray for the feet, but in general, the mold is really very nice. For a retail figure, I think this looks absolutely perfect. I do really, well, I shouldn't say perfect because nothing's really perfect, but I think that this really is a great toy. And as I said, for Deluxe Bumblebee, I think that this is the best one that we have ever gotten. Obviously, the Masterpiece one is probably the very best, but for a retail deluxe figure, this guy takes the cake. Now, the transformation back is fairly easy. Like I said, if you've done a Bumblebee transformer before, it's very similar. So first you want to detach that, kind of swivel that down just like that. You can then hinge this whole section up. These, just kind of flop these around. We'll deal with those here in a bit, but bring that in and, oh, let's see, rotate this piece around, kind of getting that around like that, and then bring this together. This piece here, you kind of have to make sure that you get that out of the way so that you can bring that all the way down, and that will lock in along the side like that. So make sure you got that piece like hinged up properly. Now, like I said, this is going to flop around, so we'll worry about that in a bit. Bring this back, tab that into place, take this, rotate this piece towards the inside just like so. So you can do that on this side. And you can rotate that around now and fiddle with that in a bit, whatever you want to do. Separate that, rotate that, bring this piece. Oh, that detached. That's not good. That's really stiff. This, I feel this like rotation piece here is really very sturdy. Fold this out, get that out of the way. And that could cause problems in terms of the rotation and popping off. So just be careful, like right there. So just fiddle with it a little bit. You know, I mean, it's movie accurate. It's movie accurate. He falls apart easily. And then take this, pull this in, then you bring these two sections together, give that a nice little squeeze. These pieces here don't really tab together, and they're kind of jostling for which one's going to be lower than the other. Just kind of push it down there and just kind of keep it straight like so. Now this part right here, get this out of the way, pull this whole section out, kind of pull this away. That popped off. So there are parts that I do wish were a little bit more secure, that's for sure. So you got that. This tabs in. That's actually fairly stiff, so I'm gonna pop that out. It tabs in, so you got a little, I don't know if you're going to see it, you got a little lip right here that locks underneath here, and that kind of creates a bit of a hassle. So let's put his door back on. Again, you know, detachable parts. It's in the movie, so it's, you know, movie accurate. So bring that up. If that was down, bring that up. That kind of pegs in, so give that a nice little push. And then separate this, fold this all the way up. Now this part actually, this, like I was saying, does get a little bit tricky. You want to rotate these front sections straight and kind of get that out of the way. And then bring this kind of over. Now you have to make sure that this yellow piece right here goes underneath the hood. So that can be a little bit tricky to do, but just kind of push one side, then you can push the other. That gets that properly aligned. Come around here to this back section. This right here, you got this, you're gonna rotate this around, and you got a little tab right here that will tab into the back of his thigh. So you bring that up and put that there. It doesn't really lock in too well, it just kind of rests there, but that's where you want it. And then hinge everything back, and if you have those pieces popping out, it can cause problems. So just keep that there, keep that there. Now you want to bring this over, and you got two little tab sections right underneath here that need to line up with this piece and this piece. It's a pain in the butt, but kind of just feed that through, squeeze everything, and kind of force that section down. If you have that lined up properly, it should be fairly easy, but it does. There we go. That's one side. It is a little bit problematic. And I'm not a very big fan of how they actually did that, but let's see, one side popped in there, and then both sides. Okay. And then when you get it like that, you just kind of hold it, because, oh, well, see, it popped out again. It's very precarious. You move it around and it separates. So there we go. Okay. Kind of hold it like that. That's not a good spot right there. Rotate this and then bring this in. Kind of lock that in along the side there. Do that with this side here. Hopefully locking everything in. Pop that in. Did you stay there? Yep, I think. Pop that door in right there. Okay, perfect. Come around here to the hands. Rotate this around. So now you have this section like that. Actually then take the wrists, rotate those all the way around. You can fold this out a little bit. And then you got a little tab right here that's going to slot in along the inside of this little black piece. So just bring this down, find that piece, kind of slot that in there and push it up into place. Then you can bring this around, give that a nice little push. That locks in along that side. So again, do that side here. Rotate the shoulder bit around. Can rotate then the wrist. Can you bring that up out of the way? Push that down and through the little slot area. Then bring this piece up. Give that a little squeeze. And there you have Bumblebee back in his Camaro mode. But generally speaking, as I said, I really do believe that this is the best version of a deluxe Bumblebee that we've ever gotten. Vehicle mode wise, I personally like the look of it. I know some people don't, but it is accurate to how he looked in the movie. Far more accurate than the first Bumblebee that we got from the last night. Transformation can be a little bit tricky, especially this back section, but it's not impossible, and I don't think that it really ruins things. It's just, it requires a little bit of kind of patience while you're doing it, but not frustratingly so. And then the robot mode is absolutely terrific. I love the fact that they finally got the little fins kind of coming out from the bottom. That's the first time that we've gotten that on a deluxe figure. The articulation is really good. Granted, the gun sort of thing is a little bit weird because it attaches to his left arm instead of his right, but you can still put it on his right arm if you really wanted. You just can't bend the arm up. And yeah, the kind of proportions for the legs are a little bit strange, but overall I really like the way that he looks. There are some quality control aspects of the figure that you should look out for, such as tightness with the various bits on him, I guess. I know I kind of jokingly said that, you know, hey, it's movie accurate because he falls apart. Well, yes, but really they shouldn't have that kind of stuff. But I think that those quality control aspects can be fixed. A little bit of pledged floor polish can easily do it. So it's not something that, for me, ruins the enjoyment of the figure. I really do like the way that this guy turned out. I'm just kind of bummed that it took so long to get it. I mean, at least we did, but it's strange that he waited so long to give us a good representation of Bumblebee. I mean, it is Bumblebee. As I said, usually we get like 3 or 4 of them by now. But hey, maybe they're learning their lesson and they're listening to fans and not flooding us with Bumblebee figures. If that's the case, good job, Hasbro. But all that being said, if Bumblebee here is a figure that you'd like to add to your collection, he should be hitting various retail locations fairly soon. So if you're looking for him, good luck and happy hunting. Or as always, you can keep your eyes on Big Bad Toy Store. For that, all you have to do is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS where you can check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of the wide range of Transformers The Last Knight figures. Also, while you guys are down in the video description, check out information on how to pre-order your Optibotimus hat. I'm currently taking pre-orders for these guys, with the deadline being August 31st to get the first wave special pricing of only $20. After that, they'll go up to the regular price of $30, so if you'd like one, pre-order one now so that you can get $10 off. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that if you like this video, to please hit that thumbs up button. It goes a long way towards helping me out, and I'd really appreciate it. Also, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. It's free, and you'll get instant email notifications whenever I upload a new video, and you'll never miss out on a future review of mine. Or hey, if you're already subscribed, do me a real quick favor and click on that little bell right below this video, and double check your settings to make sure that they're set so that you get those email notifications. And as always, until next time, till all are one.